Alrighty. Let's do some game dev. So, let me think here. We're now at the design stage for the rogue. And so, we have to be a little bit quick with it. Because we're short on time. We have until Thursday to finish the rogue and the archer. So that's kind of intense. So the first thing I need to do is clean up my rogue folders. So we're going to have kits. Hello, Jestra. How you doing? You can distract me all at once. All you want. It's part of the process. Kits. Auto attacks. We have backstab. We have throw dagger. And stealth. What else we got? We have double attack, but I'm probably going to change that. But I suppose I'll just make the folder. Double attack. And for this, currently we have R1, R2, R3. All right, I'm going to check out all of this. And we're going to go take the kits. Kit. Drag that here. Auto attack. All right, that's that one done. This is backstab R1. So I need the folders for this as well. R1, 2. Yeah. So there's already a stealth. Um, I'll get there. This is R1, double attack, R1. Also need kick, base, and crit. Let me just quickly finish my folder stuff here. Base, move here. I guess, do I have a kick? Oh, I do have different kicks. I still have a lot of ideas to get down, so I'll get there in a second. Rogue backstab. 1. Double attack. 1. Kick. 1. I didn't want to copy. I don't have too many folder stuff left to do. Hold on 1 second. I'm going to dive into this more. Backstab R3. Auto attack. Stealth. And throw dagger. Okay. And then that's whatever. I think I can take most of these now. Data table. And I'm going to battery name. We're going to remove Rogue. Okay, I can't do a mass rename on that then. On all of these. So maybe it's just the abilities. Backstab, double attack, kick, stealth, throw dagger. These all look correct. Stealth and power. Apply. And now we're going to check all that in. And then we check it out again. All right. Okay. So now we can get into this. So here's our current rogue right now. And it's very kind of copy pasta from WoW for the most part, and EverQuest. And you have a stealth, it gives you 3 ruins, and you get a big damage backstab. You have a kick for interrupt, and then you have for when you're not, maybe you're soloing and you can't get to the back of the target, you have the double attack, which applies a bleed. And the double attack, or the double strike, I'm not really entirely happy about, so I want to try doing something else. So on that note, I think one of the things I'm going to do is, because the rogue already is a positional based target or class, I think I might start with the idea that you get different bonuses by doing different attacks on different positions of the target. So there's going to be a backstab for damage, but there's going to be a left side, a right side, and a frontal type attacks of some sort. So very positional. I'm taking a little bit of inspiration from League of Legends here with Fiora, and how she gets, if she like triggers directional procs on the target, she gets like this healing AoE or something on the ground. And so I think that would be an interesting twist of, because rogues a lot of times the player type that wants to play a rogue is a little bit more active, and so the idea of maybe setting up a bunch of debuffs, like maybe you get one type of debuff from this side, and then a different debuff from this side, and then another different debuff from this side, and then like you can by getting all 3, then you can proc. Use like empowered backstab that procs them all somehow, type thing. And so it's a thought right now is so positional attacks that apply debuffs. Generates bonus damage on X. Then there's the fact that it is a dual wielding class. So by nature, they get more crits. So how can we play into that? Um, that can be a little bit like the Mage Ignite in some ways, but I'm trying to make it different. I don't want it just to be some sort of like crit stack, a bleed or something. I do want to, the one mechanic I need to make is the distract mechanic. And so I want the rogue to be able to split spawns and camps, and to basically be able to do very Assassin's Creed style things of throwing a stone, and it makes a few of them walk away, and then you can solo things out and split spawns apart. So that's one thing I have to code in. That's a new mechanic I have to get associated. I like the idea of adding passives now to make things unique. It was very good with the mage, getting that burn on crit. Definitely helps a lot of things. I also want to be careful with the positional stuff. I don't want it to be too movement intensive that requires you to constantly be doing WASD every time you fight. And so right off the bat there, it's like, okay, so you have backstab, high damage from behind. You have like left jab, which could be something, right jab, which could be something, and then frontal stab, this could be something. And so they all kind of play into each other, and I definitely want backstab to be the focus of the class. So that should always be kind of the golden star. But you also obviously, if you're soloing, you have to have alternatives to that. So rogue design, key points, positional, dual wield, fast attacks, lots of crits. Pull splitting or camp splitting, distracts. Shadow would be a cool passive. What do you mean by shadow, though? And like you already have stealth, right? You already have stealth that you can't be seen by enemies. And like right now, I don't even have like a detection system for enemies. So I can sneak up on this and backstab something. So what do you mean by like shadow, though? Like spawn shadows of yourself or something? Like very Zed-like from League of Legends. I think you're familiar with a lot of champions from League, if I remember, right? Oh, yeah. Yeah, the VFX part will be, I don't have time to do that stuff. Absolutely, though. There'll be some cool stealth visual effects. I just don't have time to do that right now. I have to focus on actual ability design. So like the VFX and SFX stuff gets a little bit pushed to the side. Um, and there could be some small things I do, but right now, the fact that your movement speed and your animation changes is like it's good enough of a identifier, and you obviously have what it says it does. So like that's the better identifier right now. It's good enough. It's readable, and even by other players, like you're lurking around, you're like on the ground when you're staying still. These things. So, um, but absolutely in the future, it'd be like very cool to have like a very shadowy stealth effect to it all. So I could do potentially like maybe maybe you can apply like one thing that'd be kind of interesting is almost like a weakness point stuff. Weakness points. And so by that I mean, so the positional attacks, maybe every crit from each positional attack um, actually gives you a buff if you crit with it. And so to maximize your damage, um, so it could be a short duration buffs to maintain. Um, and so if you crit with because you get lots of crits, you're auto attacking, so you have dual wield, so you get lots of crits. Um, each positional attack that crits grants a, plus X percent damage boost. And so your goal is to, in longer fights, get every single positional damage boost buff because they all would stack. So you could get a left side damage boost buff, a backstab damage boost buff, a right side damage boost buff. Um, and then when you have all three, then you can go in and start doing like backstabs for actual damage, or bigger. You're buffing your backstab damage type thing. So that could be interesting. That apply buffs. I need to go to the bathroom quick. BRB. You played a crit assassin in what game? Oh, Ragnarok, of course. Yeah, I keep forgetting that. We had to get geared to get 100% crit. Yeah, and that's the goal in so many games, right? Every ARPG is like that. Every um, even Genshin style games are pretty similar to that. Okay, so I really like the positional aspect. I think that's um, already sets it apart from other MMOs. The closest thing I remember with that is there was a little bit of that in Dark Age of Camelot, going way back. They had like side target jabs, but you could do it on either side. And I want to do um, specific sides. And it being focused around the crits is obviously um, like it's kind of like it's already like reading it, designing itself in a way. You get lots of crits, so you have lots of them to use. You don't have to be careful about them. Um, and maybe backstab in itself is actually a different ability. Um, so these could be the different buffing things, and then backstab itself. So like let's just do frontal jab, back jab, but then um, back stab is the like spender damage dealer. Um, but you had to get gear to get okay. Katara versus double dagger builds. hmm And I could say like apply maybe um, like 3 minute buffs to your buff maxing. I want to quickly check something with my. This is like a super random off-topic thing. Um, Scrolling combat text. So I think one thing I wanted to try here to prevent things from stacking on each other. So this one's going over there. So what we'll do is I'm going to move this, I guess, -40. Maybe -50 plus 50. Minus 50. Is where it starts from. Alright, hold up. So we go from 0 to a little bit and then out. So let's do -10. No. So one, I think I need to .5 this. Then we center. I know this is like a super random off thing, but it's like some of the number stuff is bothering me as it. So now we go here. These are all the different directions. And so now we'll do, I guess, -25. -25. Maybe not. -50. Then we'll do what the? Why did this goof off like this? And try and make it just simple numbers. -50, -50, -60, -60, and then -100, -100. Okay, the 100's too far, I think. -75. Is there multiple things here? Why can't I zoom in on this? Okay, so we start at -50. So this one is 50, -50. Okay. Okay, T. I'm right there. Be every 1 sec. All right, I'm back. All right, so this one was like so. This one's like so. Let me just quickly double check this. So right now they've been, all the damage numbers spawn from a single point. And I'm trying to space them out a little bit so they don't do that exactly. So it's actually the ones I've just done are a little bit too far, I think. That's why you test early. So let's bring them in more. So -25, -25. This point will be -35, -35. And this will be maybe -50. And then this one's kind of the same. Yeah, we're getting different, less overlaps is what I'm going for. No, I think I don't ever want it to actually go downwards. I think I always want it to go up. So I'm going to remove, I'll keep the animation there, but I think I can remove it. So 112. So let's go to our animation stuff. So I'm currently selecting the 15 degrees. Which is one of the good ones. Then the 30. Then the 330. So that's one I don't want. And 345. So which one am I missing that's correct? So this one's correct. That one's correct. That one's wrong. Okay. So I suppose this one's correct. It's just going the wrong way. Maybe I did change it. I don't know. Yeah, this is the one I changed. That's why it's doing that. So negative 50. So we have 345. Okay, so 330. We'll go maybe negative 30, negative 25, or 15, 0. And then it goes negative 40 to negative 10. And then negative, I don't know, 75 to negative 40. So that's too far. here to here, it's a difference of 15. This is negative 55. And this is negative 25. So we currently have this one that goes up there, this one that goes over there. We can actually maybe make this here, negative 15, negative 60. Negative 55. Hello, Wall. How you doing? Negative 25. Is this tough? Damn, that's cool to be honest. I liked it. What? The rogue stuff or what? What are you referencing? Okay, so that one's good. That one's good, I think. This one's good. And what was the last one? 345. Okay, I did that one. There's 330, 30, and 15. So this one I think is the opposite of this one, which is negative 30, I guess. This goes to 40 and negative 15. Oh wait, 30 to negative 10. Oh, this one needs. And then let's duplicate any of these, I guess. Duplicate. And we're just going to do a vertical one as well. So this is going to be, what, 25? Negative 25 to negative 35 to negative 50. And then we'll add this to 5. I think the nameplates are now off-centered a little bit. So if I go to the AI enemy master, and now I go to the widget, scrolling combat text, pivots, proper. So maybe not. Let me do a quick test. I'm going to throw an image in here. I'm going to do a .5.5, the anchor in the middle. Just see what this looks like. Maybe it's the actual position of the widget itself. See how it's like off-centered? But it's not off-centered there. Is it a target dummy? Is it like a specific target dummy? Nope. That's interesting. Why would it be doing this? It could randomly because I have text there. Or do I need to make the... Let's see if that's probably not doing it, but maybe. Yeah, I think that might have been it. Now it's centered. No, it's still off. That's a straight up one. It's still off. Why is it so off? Is it just the target dummy, or is it this, the wolf as well? No, it's off there too. Hmm. If I set that to 0, does anything get fixed? Hello, Warframe. How are you? I'm on so I'm designing the rogue, but I had like a random, scroll moment of changing up my, I did not do it at all. Is it really just this? The center's like here. Maybe I don't do draw its desired size. AI master 1-1. Does that do anything? No. It's still off-centered. Why are you off-centered? Ah, that's why. I forgot there's a container for it all. Okay. This guy needs to just be 1. That should do it, I think. There we go. Yeah, that's much more appropriate. And then I think going back to draw desired size. this is all proper. I think. I think it still seems slightly off. Let me take that off. Yeah, random like scroll moment to just slightly improve my scrolling combat text. All right, now it's way off. What the frick? All right, well, I could potentially, so I know it's going to the right a little bit. If we do like -5, does that just fix it? I think that went the opposite direction again. So -5. Let me just make sure this is working. So if I do -50, does it put it way off? I don't know if it does. No, it's not doing anything. Or is that just because it's the target dummy? It could just be because the target dummy has its own settings that are overriding the parent. So if I do this and do -550. Okay, yeah, so it is working. It just, I need to reset that to default. Go to this guy, reset its scrolling combat to default. And then when I make a small change here, like -5, 10. Actually, I think it'd be 10 now. It updates. All right, much better. And then now we have to go to some of the individual ones to just raise it slightly, like 200. Depends on the shape of the monster and their model. Let's go like 15 though. Yeah, that's nice. All right, and then the last thing I'm going to do is whenever we generate a number, we'll promote that to a variable. This is the last used animation. If this equals the last used animation, so yeah, I probably shouldn't do that. That could cause hitches. Let's do yeah, I think I had started doing this before. And so we're going to get a random so these are the defaults. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5. We're going to random one of these and set it there. I don't really want to rotate through them. I don't want to go like this one, that one, this one, that one. Like I want it to kind of be random, but I don't want to use the same one at the same time. So so the current array is gonna have all those, and then we select it to use. And then at the end of it, all of these come together. Take the last animation used. We're going to take the current. We're going to clear the current, and then take the defaults for each. I'm going to add to the current. But if it equals the last animation used, we do nothing. I think that works. I don't know. We'll see. So we're pulling from the current array, which starts with 1 through 5, which is 1 through 5. We save the last animation used. As we come here, then we clear the current list. We try and reset it to fully default, but we exclude what was just used. And then it repeats that process every time. We should never see, I mean, that was the same. Oh, this isn't going to work, is it? Because this is individual UI widgets. It's not a core thing. That's not going to work. And then, yeah, this is not going to work. Because these are like throwaway little widgets. So it's not even saving the last one you used. I don't have like any higher controller for that, so that's not going to work at all. These ones are like really far off on the side. Or it's like, is it in the front? It's centered-ish. But then as I go over, what is with this, the spacing on this stuff? Hello, Unreal Crashed. How are you? I'm just trying to randomly polish my scrolling combat text a little bit because it's like randomly off-centered, and it's just one of those random things that's bothering me. And I'm trying to fix that. Good. We are doing some rogue design today. A couple ideas we've had so far are so I have a rotation ruin system for combat, and so as you attack, you rotate through ruins at your feet, and you can have up to 3 ruins, and they change your abilities. And so and then when you after 5 auto attacks, you get a crit ability. So there's no random crit chance in the game. You just 5 auto attacks, you get a critical ability, and that ability is empowered. So obviously, in the case of the rogue, we have a backstab, so it's going to crit eventually. I still have a lot of work to do with the rogue here, so it's not critting right now for a reason. But currently, my thought is because we have lots of attacks. I could do positional attacks, like I really lean into the positional part of a rogue. And so if you did a side attack, it'd be like a right jab. You'd get like a power buff. Then you could do a, backstab jab, another power buff, and a right side jab, another power buff. So like you're stacking your buffs based on almost like attacking weak points of the target to give yourself different stacking buffs. And then you can obviously be at your maximum power, and you can start backstabbing to maximize your backstab damage. I could do like maybe it's exposed weakness, and it amplifies your backstab stuff. And so you're going to have frontal attacks, and left side attacks, back side attacks, and right side attacks type thing. So it's a two-part answer. So we've been working on this project since basically the beginning of 2025. We started it in like November, December of 2024, but that was reskinning our tech we've made called Vertical Third with a lot of marketplace assets. It was like we chose Cinti Studios and stuff. And so our tech, Vertical Third, got $100,000 in awards from the Epic Maker Grant Program. And we built that from 2019 to 2022. And it is a massive game architecture. If you're not familiar with it, I can provide a few links. The first video there, I'll link the video itself, but kind of goes over what it is and how we believe game architectures are one of the next big leaps in game development workflows and productivity. But then I also have my tech stack overview. I can obviously see that you're a dev yourself. I have my Indie MMO tech stack overview. And then we even went on the Unreal Engine live stream. And if you watched that at all, you might remember us from there. And so it's been about a year and a half of like less than part-time work, but we have, because of Vertical Third and how much it provides for us, we have 3 years of our core systems and design features already done. So we've been kind of digging into what makes Vertical Third from a design standpoint. And we have, I'll bring up the, let me just quickly bring up the a different class that's actually more complete here. I have to log into PlayFab here and touch it up, or change my class from there. Players, where is players? We'll do the mage because it's the recent one I've done. And so we have 3 kind of core features right now that kind of identify, how Ruins of Tearyn is different. Our combat is, again, our goals are slow-paced combat that allows you to talk, while actually playing the game and while in combat. So you can actually communicate and socialize with your team. We don't want AoE grinding, so if you pull things, 5 monsters into the group, you're going to crowd control 4 of them and single target DPS 1 down. Again, we kind of reference that we're trying to build like EverQuest WoW had a baby, but we still believe in a lot of modernized features. And so here at the mage, you have your standard fireball. Here's like a R1 fireball, which is just a simple thing. But then your R2, and this is the same button. That's R2 fireball. Now it's a whole different ability. So different ability, more damage, that stuff. And then your R3 fireball is an AoE explosion that applies a dot type thing. Or this one's just an AoE explosion. When you have a critical, so if in the case of the mage, now I have a crit, now I get a different fireball that applies crit because the mage has a passive crit. Whenever you crit, you apply a stack of burn. So you're doing this kind of, you're trying to keep up your burn stacks and can stack 20 times. That goes into your next spell, Bombard, which actually applies stacks of burn at 2. And so if you do get a crit with a Bombard, you're actually doubling up your stacks of burn as well. And so here I have 3 stacks, I do a bombard, and now this one's going to apply like 10 stacks of you know, burn, and a couple resisted there. But then I can use ignite to actually basically explode all those up, did 256 damage. And so it's like, because a lot of it's a slow-paced game, every button you press from a damage perspective has to have like an actual intention to it. And so you have like your standard damage, you have trying to stack up lots of dots, and then you have your more execute spell for that. And you have some other, you know, like for 3, the first one is, okay, so that was R3, and so this is, if I stand in this, I get 8 raw power damage. So I'm hitting for 11 here. If I stand out of it, the buff goes off, and now I'm hitting for 4. And then, so that was Empowering Flames. That was, you know, your 3 keybind R3. Here's R1 for 3 is a fire resistance debuff, and then R3 R2 is actually a like a fire damage shield. And so I can apply this on myself here. And if I walk over to the wolf, now every time he attacks, he takes fire damage when I take a hit, type of thing. Then you have like your little blink as well. I'm gonna kill this guy off. And you also have drain heat, and so that empowers your different spells. I'm gonna have to reset for mana. And so the first drain heat is to empower your fireball. So like if I do a standard fireball here for R1, we'll see it does 14 damage. But then if I drain heat fireball, and now it's like I got 1 stack of it, so R1 fireball now did 40 damage, right? So it's empowering your different spells. And it's the same thing for a couple others. So like I can apply a bunch of stacks of bombard, which gives me burn stacks. And so if I do an R2 R, now it's going to amplify. So it was ticking for 9 damage, now it's ticking for 17. So, and the burn actually is a duration. It's not just a single use. And then the last R for last drain heat is for ignite as well. So I could get a bunch of stacks here, and then do an R3, which is going to empower by ignite. And now when I use ignite, it does 400 damage. So it's empowering your different spells type thing. Then you also have some AoEs. Let's go down to R1. On my 2, I have kind of burn the ground. So this is I call it scorched ground. And so it's just a small AoE around the area. So it can do high damage, but if the target moves out of that area, the spell is kind of useless. So you have to make sure you manage your threat in order to not pull it out of that area. It's kind of the opposite with this one. You get a blazing trail, and so you can actually run. So mobile targets, if you're kiting or something, are going to take some damage through that. And then the last one here is like a area effect knockback. So, and this is another way. Like, so this is a critical cast. So the critical cast gives me a place to actually move it, and boom, you know, move it around. But then if it's a non-critical cast, it's actually around myself. And I'll wait for the cooldown here. So there's a lot of factors to play in with everything there. Unreal 6. And so there's different. And you can see like I can have the difference between a regular ability and a crit ability can have, it's a completely different ability I've been through the system there. And so that's like some of the core kind of philosophies. So like at the bottom bar you have 8 buttons, but you could potentially have 48 different abilities because of the crit system and because of the rotation, depending on the stage of your rotation runes. And so different classes will rotate through runes differently. Obviously mage is just auto-attacking, helps you rotate through your runes. And that kind of plays into the Registry of Chronicles. So this is one of our core systems where we're merging achievements and questing together. And so instead of going to get a fetch quest or a kill quest, you just go kill 10, a bunch of those things to that thing, and you get rewards for doing so. And so here, hey, I killed 25 wolves. I click it, I get 1,000 XP. You know, I don't have to go turn in quests. I don't have to go to a quest hub, whatever. Right now, it's just experience, but in the future, it's going to be, you know, potentially talent points, skills, crafting recipes, equipment. It's also very class-specific loot rewards, so it's kind of a form of personal loot. Like I always reference that if you're a cleric, you go kill 100 undead. Maybe you get smite undead, as an example there. That goes right into, again, even though we have EverQuest inspiration, we highly believe in modernized quality of life features. So you're going to have a map, you're going to have fast travel, and you can look at all the different. EverQuest is very camp-focused kind of gameplay loop, and so you're going to actually, you know, pick different camps that are strategic to the loot you want. Loot will change your spells and abilities and all those things. So you can go camp certain, actually get experience at certain camps, and figure out which bosses you want to kill for the loot you want. In the future, each camp will have like, you know, 5 or so bosses with different types of loot for them, and all that stuff. And so this is kind of like enjoying the journey of everything. And the loot you get in these bosses will craft into better pieces of loot later on. So you want to go to these things, get the loot you need for your late game character build. And on that note, we actually have a crafting skill called Metamorphosis. So all the monsters in the game will drop essence of what they are. You can craft into crystals. Those crystals can actually raise the level of these camps. So you could, even though these camps are all level 10 to 14, you can actually use crystals to boost them up. So if you're level 15, you could use 5 crystals and boost them from 15 to 19. That's going to increase the experience, increase the loot drops, and the bosses will eventually, we don't have this in yet, but the bosses will eventually be like fabled versions of themselves and drop even better loot, like more powerful versions of their previous thing. So that's kind of like the 3 core systems right now that make Ruins of Tearyn unique. And if you're interested, we are playtesting on the 28th. That's in 4 days. On Thursday is going to be the first day. And it's going to be the 28th to the 31st is what we're testing. We playtest at the end of every month. I basically have free hours from PlayFab, and you can actually find us on the Epic Game Store. If you want to participate, it's literally just a free download of the demo. We're always trying to get as many people as we can to test, so we have we try and stress test our servers and find that magical number of how many people can we load into a server. So, which we have not broken yet. So that is my typical speech of what Ruins of Tearyn is. I always laugh at the fact it's like so hard to just summarize an MMO. Like the elevator pitch of an MMO is like a 10-minute explanation. Like it's so hard to elevator pitch an MMO because it's so dependent on all the different systems that you have. The funny thing about Unreal 6, I'm so unhyped about Unreal 6. Like the thing that the direction they're trying to go with this whole like Fortnite creative plus Unreal 6, like I don't know about it. It doesn't, like Unreal 5 felt like a really big leap with the stuff they did with the graphics and stuff, but obviously I'll see it when I believe it. I'm like, I don't know. I feel like it's also too early for Unreal 6. I mean, it's, to some degree, no, but Unreal 4 lasts from 2014 to what, 2020, 2022? No, 2020. When was Unreal 5 launched? UE5 announcement. Like 2023? 2022. Yeah. So that's technically like 8 years apart. So I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy. Okay. Um. Yeah, I don't know. This scrolling combat text thing is just really bugging me. It's like a UX problem that bugs you. So from forward facing character, it's fine. It's actually straightened. But when you go behind, it's all the way on the other side for some reason. Even though everything I can possibly think of is set to center it. Um, container. It's anchored in the middle. .5.5. AI master. Pivots in the center. Yeah, close enough, I guess. It could be a perception thing that doesn't seem matched up with the nameplate, but okay. Back to the rogue. That was like an hour offset on just the stupid scrolling combat text. So like I said, I think I'm going to lean into two things. Being a positional based character class and dual wield being fast attacks, which means lots of crits. With that in mind, you're going to get different abilities when they crit will give you different buffs. And you're trying to buff stack. Um, and I could make them all empowers. So backstab could cost like a lot of stamina, but exponentially grows in power with the different empowers. I'm trying to think. And I have to kind of be quick. I have to kind of just go with something, and we can always change it up later on. So let's look at my let's look at my buttons. So we have Shift, Q, E, R, 1, 2, 3, and 4. So Shift is stealth. So we're just going to say that's ability's done. I'm literally not going to do anything with stealth right now. Complete abilities. So that's 1 off the table. Just because I'm kind of close on time right now. Right now R is backstab. 1 is throw dagger. E is... no, R is kick. R is kick. E is backstab. And Q is double attack. And we don't have 2, 3, 4. So one thing I need is like a distract ability. I do want to have that kind of part of his kit. I want him to be able to pull monsters away and separate targets. I'll put distract on 4 so you don't fat figure throw dagger. So what I could do is, so I'm trying to think of what is the R1, R2, and R3 of each one. So if these were their own abilities, frontal attacks, right side attacks, left side attacks, back side attacks, what would they, how would they be different? Is the key. So I could do, maybe I move stealth off shift. I think that would help a lot. I'm going to move stealth off shift, and we're going to put it on, I think, 4. Distract and stealth as there. And then stealth becomes complete on 4. And then we can have so R is going to turn into, and then kick we can put on 2. R is going to be positional advantage, which is going to be R1, R2, and R3. And so R3 is going to be backstab. R1 we'll say is frontal, and then R2 is any side, like left, right. And so those will have different effects. E is going to be right side attacks. Or maybe I do, yeah, E, left side attacks. And shift could be front side attacks. Yeah, I kind of like that. It also simplifies the kit quite a bit. I think kick is mostly done. I just have it kind of basic, different durations, stuns and stuff. And distract, we're just going to have a single ability. So R1 just damage. Damage plus snare, and R3 melee damage plus snare plus like exposed weakness or something. Or plus dot maybe. So this could be double attack for now. Maybe this is our bleed. And backstab is obviously Big damage. Maybe R1s are all expose weakness, which is a debuff. Plus damage debuff. Front. Left. Right. This one could be backstab and power. What else we got here? I think this is just like interrupt. This one was like a stun.
Do you want some of this?
Did you just make it?
Yeah, it's
Sure.
arugula, tomatoes, and then the rest of the normal seasonings.
I'm down.
Okay.
Hell yeah.
It's got cheese with it this time. Is that okay?
Okay, yeah. Thank you. I'll come get some. I'm gonna go get some. My kiddo made food. I'll be right back. All right. I'm just taking a quick break to eat. I'll be back shortly. All right. Um, yeah, I think I have the class worked out. Um, so you're making the monster take more damage through exposed weakness, and you have 3 different ways of doing that. This is a buff. So you're kind of trying to keep your backstab buffs up as well. And they basically carry over to, if you're soloing, they'll carry over to your next encounter, which you basically get a backstab crit every time you open up on a monster. So we have exposed weakness on the first one, power backstab on the next one. I could do a bleed attack per side as well. That's probably what I'm going to stick with right now. And because I don't have a ton of time, so I have to just implement something, just an idea, direction of some sort. I think that's good overall. It's kind of straightforward right now, and it gets me in the mindset for how I want to play. It also makes the rogue kind of a team player as well, whereas a lot of rogues in past MMOs are kind of for themselves. And so by being a rogue, being a character that makes the enemy take more damage is kind of nice. And then I'm a little bit inspired by Fiora from LoL in these, like, making sure you hit the different sides of the target. So this one has to be something else. All right. Oh, hello, King. How are you doing? Man, I'm loving Obsidian, but I really need to learn markup. Yeah, I mean, I barely use markup at all. I'm mostly just doing check boxes, you know. Like, I don't use a ton of markup myself. Like, I have my packaging steps there. I know you can get really detailed with the markup language, but I'm just a bullet point type person. I know there's tons of like add-ons and stuff and plugins that you can add too. All right, managed to fall asleep at a reasonable hour after an all-nighter. Managed to not fuck up my sleep schedule. Yep, my sleep schedule is kind of messed up right now. I stayed up till like 10 or 11 in the morning yesterday. Slept. I think I got up at 6 to 8 p.m. right now today. So I'm right there with you. Doing pretty good. I think I have a good direction with the rogue. So again, I'm trying to fall into the idea of my rogue's already backstab focused. So I want this character class to be very positional based. So basically you have different things to do based on the front of the target, the side, the left side, the right side, and the back side. You get lots of crits because you're dual wield, so you attack fast, and you get, as a result, you get lots of crits. So it's going to make the class feel kind of thematic. And on those crits, you're probably going to be applying. I'm trying to make them a little bit of a debuffer. And so there's the idea of exposed weakness. So you can do an exposed weakness will probably be like anywhere between a 1 to 3, you know, percent damage buff, but you can do that on every side. So you can debuff the target for maybe an extra 20% damage or something if you expose weakness on every side. And I'm just going to do a backside attack here. Backside attacks. I'm going to try and be thematic with it. And then you can stack different bleeds based on your position. And you can also get empower your backstab for X duration type thing. Yeah, I mean it's a little bit more simple than the other classes, but again, I only have till Thursday to complete the rogue and archer, so I have to be very careful with how much workload I do. So it's kind of like the rogue and archer are going to get a little bit of a lighter pass at stuff. And when you're soloing, the idea is that you're going to be opening up with a stealth backstab, which is going to be, if you keep up your backstab buffs, it's going to be really strong. Then you're going to be a little bit weak when you're yourself to when the target's facing you, but then you can do your stuns to potentially get off back, left side, right side attacks. Um, yeah, I mean that's a good direction to go. The only thing I have to the only ability I really have to code anything new for is distract, and that's going to be a single ability. So I'm probably going to take a little bit of a break. But yeah, I think I've figured out. There could be a question of like what's a good passive for the rogue. Um, excuse me. Yeah, I think I just need a bit of a mental reset and break. because I'm going from like a design perspective to implementation. Plus I just ate, so I just want to chill for a little bit before I dig into this. Kind of one of those context switching things. I'll probably implement all of this first, and then save the distractibility for last. Because I think this is all doable with just my design tools. I'm thinking. Yep, I want to take a break. Thank you guys for watching again. I really appreciate everyone that comes around. I figured out the rogue for now. This should be a pretty quick fix and quick implementation. So when I start later in a couple hours, I should be in a pretty good spot with the rogue. And then maybe there's a chance I finish him today. We'll see, because a lot of this is pretty basic. And then I have the remaining couple days for the archer, and potentially get to some of the bug fixes I had down here. So yeah. Yep. I need a break. Thank you for